Good evening, guys. Good evening. I hope you're well. Um, just managed to get my tea down my neck. Well, halfway down. Anyway, guys, it's good to be back with you. We've got plenty of stuff on tonight. Really, really good tonight. And been good this morning. Okay, just a couple of announcements before we get started. Number one, if you're listening on the radio, make sure you put all the messages in your left-hand column. If you're listening on podcast and you're watching the podcast, make sure you put it in the right hand column. It's easy, isn't it? Really easy. That is really good. Also, I've been asked to put a donation page on because we guys we don't kind of like get paid anything like that, and sometimes it does take up a lot of time, and we do need to buy equipment. So people have been asking, can I make a donation? And I didn't really want to, but I made up a GoFund page. So if you want to do that, um, go ahead, but you don't have to. Anyway, good evening, and we're going over and say hello. Hello, you alright? How are you?
Hello, hello. Very happy to be here. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you. No, I can't. I'm trying to get to grips to your name. Is it Envy? Envy?
It's Einav.
Enough. Right. Okay. Okay. And tell everybody about yourself.
For sure. So my name is Einav. Not an easy name to pronounce, I know. I am a confidence and empowerment catalyst, and I work with people to identify their negative self-talk and their limiting beliefs so that when they understand what was holding them back until now, they're able to let go and create the extraordinary life that they're meant to live.
Right. Okay. So you are like a coach, really. You empower people to kind of like to let go things that's happened in the past, so they can move on and better themselves for the future. Yeah.
In a nutshell, yes, it's really about exploring with the people what is the internal conversation that they're having with themselves that is holding them back. Because what tends to happen is that people say, "Yeah, I want to do this or that," but they don't do that. And then they get frustrated and they're like, what's going on? How come I know I want to do it? And yet I am so scared. There is something that is so deeply rooted inside me that is holding me back. There are fears, there's fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of success, of course. So people normally don't really understand why they can't get to do what they want to do. And in this kind of, insightful kind of conversations, we come to the core of it. And then we're able, once we surface it and it's on the table, we say, "Oh, okay, I don't need to do that anymore." So it's all about the conversations and the discovery and the insights that come up from these conversations.
Okay. And what is holding us back?
Right. So, like I said, it's definitely to do with the fears. Um, there's a lot of things that it's all kind of hidden inside, unconsciously. We don't really understand what is going on. But basically, we have two parts of us in a sense, inside us or within us. On the one hand, we have the unconscious mind, which is the beautiful thing that knows everything about us. It knows where we've come from. It knows where we're going. It's the realm of the emotions, the creativity, the feelings, and the unconscious mind. One of its main jobs is to have the blueprint of the best version of ourselves, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So it's all the time trying to steer us in the right direction. It's trying to say, "Hey, do this. It will be amazing. You're going, it's everything that you've ever wanted, even if you didn't know it yourself." But the problem is that what immediately comes up as the counterpart is the negative voice. And the negative voice is the only thing that it wants you to do is to do today what you've done yesterday. So it's all about preservation, how to keep you safe, how to keep you alive. So, what the negative voice does is that it latches onto our biggest fears and it puts them on the table. And all of a sudden, we have real possibility for something to go wrong. So, for example, if I want to ask someone out, right? My unconscious mind says, hey, this guy or this girl, they're your people. Why don't you ask them out? And immediately my negative voice will come up and say, Who do you think you are? They're 10, you're 3. They'll never want to talk to you. It's because you're too old, too young, too big, too fat, too thin, too educated, too not educated. Whatever the fears are, the lies come up. And the lies are so alive and they're so vivid that we really say, oh, do you know what? I didn't want to go out with this guy anyway. So thank you for saving me.
Well, it's their loss.
Say again?
It's their loss.
Absolutely, they're lost.
But the trouble is, you see, it doesn't matter what status you are in, or in life. As you said, fat, thin, whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I think we need to accept everyone for what they are, and we all should get on in this world. This is why I do all this. Is to kind of like help people, to to kind of like help people and kind of like encourage them, and
Absolutely.
and that's what I do. And I'm trying to spread what you call the kindness around.
Yeah,
And if I can do that, then that's kind of like one step what I'm trying to do. And where so it doesn't matter if people want to go out with you or people want to kind of like go out with somebody else. I remember a long time ago I went out with uh not a Muslim. I can't remember what she was what religion she was. But anyway, and she was a dark lady. Um and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. And I think we need to come out of that stigma and accept that we are real people, and come
yeah.
with real people come with a lot of problems and difficulties. But after all, we're all human.
But it goes much, much deeper than that. It's basically, we are adults today, but we are still operating from conditioning and whatever we were told as we were growing up. From the moment we were born, we are influenced by fears and frustrations and hopes and dreams and you know limitations of other people.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Do you have dreams?
do I have what? Sorry.
Do you personally have dreams? What are your dreams about your life?
Absolutely, of course, I have dreams. I think it's what pushes me forward. I have aspirations. I want to grow in my coaching career. I want to become a huge motivational speaker. That's where I'm heading.
Right.
Um,
Okay. So do you and and by saying that, do you think you will get to that point?
Absolutely, I
Well, there
have
you go.
no doubt.
There you go. See, so there you go. As I said, say to everybody, we're all on a journey, right? We're on this big road together, and now and again, right, we get down, we get depressed, we go low, and so what we do is we turn in by the lay-by, right? And we've got to stop, rest, recharge our batteries, come out again, and keep going till we reach our goal in life. And
Yes, for sure. This is, but I think what you are kind of overlooking a little bit is really the emotions and the fears, because fears are really big drivers in our lives. And sometimes the fears, instead of saying, actually, this is something that I'm not so confident about, so let me go there heads on, like myself with a motivational speaker dream, scares the life out of me. But I'm
yeah,
not
but
allowing this fear
but
to
the
stop
trouble,
me.
I know, but the trouble is, if we allow fear to come into our life, right? We
Yeah,
have fears every day. It's like when we go out, if we go across the road, that's a fear, right? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what to expect.
sure.
Okay, so but hopefully at the end of it, we would have come to a conclusion that we got on to the other side. So we all got. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, but what I want to add to that is that some people will want to cross the road, and they will already in their mind go to the worst case scenario, and they will
Yeah. Oh yeah.
actually consider everything that can go wrong, all the dangers, all the death threats, and all of that, and they will actually decide not to go. So there's a, I don't know, fear is very sensitive. It's very fragile conversation because, yes, ideally we will all recognize that, if you haven't done it, then it's normal that we have some doubts or fears, but still we should be able to just say, right, soldier on, we're going to cross the road, or we're going to do this or that. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reality is that we look at these fears and we do allow them to hold us back. We allow them to we start doubting ourselves. We start doubting what our, how when we show up, can we show up authentically, or actually are we going to be judged or ridiculed, or how are we going to come across? So I
Mm,
totally agree with you. Ideally, we would just recognize that we have some concerns or some uncertainties, or some fears, but we will just continue and despite them.
yeah. Can I ask
We
you a
have,
couple of questions?
yeah,
I want to. I want to do. I want to ask you a couple of questions now. Have you been judged in your life?
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's one. Right. Have you been ridiculed in your life?
Yes,
Have you been hurt in your life?
absolutely.
But also, have you forgiven people that have hurt you in your life?
Absolutely. It's really about recognizing at some point that it's not external. It's not about the other people. It's really about ourselves.
That's it.
And in
Yeah.
everything that we are going through, every discomfort, every pain, every hurt, there is a lesson for ourselves to help us grow. So, the people who bullied me when I was young, that was part of my journey. I
Yeah.
needed to take whatever was happening and grow from that, and learn that actually it wasn't about them. It was about me, about something that I myself didn't recognize that I had.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is definitely about all of these kind of conversations. And it's also about recognizing that, you know what? If someone is wanting to judge me, let it be. It's
Yeah.
not about them.
Of
And
course
if
it's
I
not.
if I have to operate from behind a curtain and worry about everything that I do or say, how I'm going to come across, and if anyone is going to judge me, or if they're going to be trolls, or I won't do anything. And basically, am I then doing any justice for my life if I all the time scared about what might happen? But I definitely recognize, definitely from working with my clients, and of course from my own experience, recognizing that actually the first step to moving forward is creating like an image in your mind. And as soon as you recognize, you have a self recognition, something that you already know what it might look like, then you say, actually, I can move forward because I have an idea of what it would be like. Because if I, dropped you in the middle of a foreign country where you don't know anyone and you don't speak the language, and actually you feel a little bit scared, it's you will freeze. You will not immediately know what to do. I mean, of course, sometimes there can be other things, but if I didn't prepare you to me dropping you in the middle of that city, but if I told you in advance, I said, look, we're going to go to that city and read a little bit about it, or do some research or watch some movies or whatever, you will start recognizing what this place is like. And because you have this self recognition, when you get there, even though it might not be one on one in um, like for like, you will still know where you are. So a lot of the time when we understand that we have fears that are holding us back, we need to start saying, actually, what is really scaring you? What is going on here? And we start digging really deep to understand the internal conversation that we are having with ourselves. And some people have internal conversation that is like constantly in capital letters, like, don't do it, be really careful, everything is going to go wrong. So when they're constantly having to react to this kind of internal belief of threat, they can't relax, they can't really be themselves. So
Mm,
it's I think it's when we recognize that we have a place, our comfort zone, where we feel safe and we feel everything is familiar, and also that as soon as we decide, okay, we are going to take a step forward, there is going to be a phase in that moving forward where fear is going to try and stop us and to say, you don't really need to go there. You don't really want to do that new thing that you've never done before. And when we recognize that there is going to be that phase, the upper limit or terror barrier or whatever you want to call it, then we know that we can do it. It's about another conversation that we are having with ourselves. It's
Yeah.
about, first of all, having the awareness and the recognition that where we are at the moment is not good enough anymore. And we don't want to be in a place where we're not happy or that we're not satisfied or that things are just not happening in the way that we believe that they should be.
Yeah.
And then we say, right, so I'm going to get started on my journey. I'm going to just, like I said earlier, soldier on and I'm going to go. But when we recognize that there is going to be that phase of where things are not familiar and we don't know what it would look like because we don't have the sort of recognition, the fear is going to come up. And if we
Right.
prepare for that and we say, yes, things can go wrong, or I might believe that I'm not good enough, or that there's danger around the corner, but it will be okay, right? If we are able to have that kind of conversation with ourselves, we will be able to get going to where we are headed.
Yeah. Right. So what I'm doing is we're on this journey, right?
Yeah,
So I come to at a crossroads now, right? Don't
yeah,
know what way to go, right? So now, if someone comes to you and say, right, either I've I'm at a crossroads, don't know what to do with in my life,
hmm
right? As a coach, what
yeah.
would you say to them?
Well, that's basically the same kind of question, because with every decision that we have to make, we can decide: are we going stepping into power, things that are going to make us grow, or are we going to go back into safety, doing more of the same of everything that we are already used to doing? And there needs a lot of courage to say, do you know what? I want to do something that makes me really happy. This is what Gay Hendricks talk about in his book about the big leap. You have your zone of excellence, and this is what you've done. You already know how to do this. But what you have on the other side is your zone of genius, and this is the thing that calls you. The things that if you had to do it for hours and hours and hours, you will do it, no problem, and you will always feel energized and happy. So this is, recognizing that where we are, if it's not giving us this kind of sense of fulfillment and sense of purpose, then maybe we're not in the right place. And
Right.
recognizing that, yes, going into or towards the zone of genius, that thing that is calling us, it might be scary for a little bit, but it is also going to, it's like coming home. So
Okay.
when I work with people, I want to really understand what would they do if they were not scared of opinions or scared of, doing what is expected of them, or, the other thing that of course is very important is, if will they be able to pay the bills. So people are finding all of these excuses, in a sense, to keep themselves very low, very small. And what I want to do with them is to say to them, yes, I get it. And I'm not asking them to change from one day to the next. I'm just trying to get them to see that there is another way, that there is another path that they can take. And it can be in parallel for a little bit. But what they really need to, what I encourage them to do is to at least recognize that actually, if they didn't have to do this, there is something else. There is an alternative that is waiting for them to make the first step.
Brilliant. And so, what can you offer them? So, if anybody wants to contact you and they want some help, what can you offer them?
Well, the first thing with anyone that wants to have a conversation is to really get in touch and put in place like a connection call. This will allow me to really understand what the challenges are that they're going through at the moment. What are the fears? What is the internal conversation? I always talking about the internal conversation, because that is the thing that is either stopping us and holding us in place, or is actually helping us to move forward in life. So I definitely invite them to have this connection call to see where they are at the moment, where they would want to go to get to, what they've already tried, what is holding them back, what are their fears,
Right.
and then and we take it from there. Apart from that, there's a few online courses that I've got as well. So if people prefer to work on things but in their own pace, on their own way. The online courses is basically like walking with a coach, but a lot cheaper, and also in their own pace. And then there's some books that I've written. My book series, ebook series, is coming out at the end of the month. It's called Authentic Confidence: Investing in Self and Teams. And people are welcome to also email me at einev@untangledcoaching.com if they want to be notified of when the books are coming out. The books are really helping people to recognize how they can be more confident in the workplace, be it if they're team members or team leaders. It's all about this conversation of, who are you really being? Are you coming to your workplace and giving your all, or are you spending most of your energy on hiding and keeping yourself small because, again, the fears of being found out, or fears of being not good enough, fear of comparison? That's a big fear. And basically worrying that if you will be found out, what does it say about you? Will you get the sack, or what will happen? So there's a lot of this kind of content in these books.
Great, great. And I've got to get you back sometime to talk about your book.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll definitely do that. I'll get my wife to book you into for some dates and everything, so we can talk about your book.
That would be lovely.
And thank you so much for joining me today. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And thank you, bless you. And if there are some people out there now who is looking at this and thinking, I want to contact, I want to contact her, can they contact you on Facebook or any other channels? How do they do it?
Yeah, I mean, I am on Facebook. I have a page or group, Untangled Coaching group. Uh, I think LinkedIn is probably one of the better platforms to find me, or just email me directly. Find my website, Untangled Coaching. Easier to pronounce than my name, Einav. But if you do want to just email me directly, it is einav@untangledcoaching.com. And I'm very happy to have conversations and really see how can I help you? How can I serve you?
Good. Okay, guys. So don't forget, if you really really need some help, please please contact her right now. You know what I mean? Sometimes, though, guys, we do need a little bit of help. When we are, when we come to that crossroads in our life and we don't know where to turn and everything. And sometimes we do need coaches like our guest to help us on our long journey of life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Bye bye.